Richard Wilson. In this short video module, we're going to talk about developing powerful webinars to help you gain new clients and leads for your business. I'm here in Madrid, Spain, recording some training content for some of my clients, so I thought it'd be a great idea to help you record new content for your clients by using webinars. My first tip is, before you start a webinar or even plan one, define the exact purpose of why you're doing it. What messages do you want to convey to your target audience? How do you want to be positioned in their eyes? What do you want them to do at the end of the webinar? Do you want them to sign up on your email list for something? Do you want them to buy a product? Do you want them to come to your conference next month? Try to figure out what you want them to do at the end of the webinar, because that's going to change everything else you do during the webinar. For example, if you want them to hire you as a consultant at the end of the webinar, then everything you do should be building your authority, showing how you've done consulting with other people in the past, and give them a lot of value in the webinar in a way so that at the end they have this burning desire to hire you as a consultant, and they have all of their objections already answered naturally within the valuable content that you delivered to them. After defining your purpose, you have to decide on the price. Most of the time I give away my webinars for free to build my email list and get my email list very large, very quickly. But if you are going to charge for a webinar, what's typical is $27 to $47 for an hour, up to $97 for an hour, but $27 to $47 is more typical in most industries. And then if you're doing a 2 or 3 or 4 hour webinar, usually $197 is more typical. So it depends on your industry. Again, the more you give away for free, the more valuable it is, the more people will probably sign up, and you'll get more email addresses in your database. So it depends on where you want this to fit into your lead funnel or your sales funnel. You could do both, have a free series, and then have some 3-hour intensive webinars that cost more money, like $47. That might be one way to have the best of both worlds. But pricing is definitely something you have to consider early on after you define the purpose of the webinar. The next tip is to use webinar software. Obviously, we use GoToWebinar.com. We're not associated with them at all, but it's just easy software to use. And then you can either record the webinar through their software, GoToWebinar, or through something such as Camtasia, CaptureFox, which is a plugin for Firefox. A little bit buggy. I would use Camtasia or GoToWebinar's recording service. And always record your webinars. Recorded webinar content is great for a membership website. It's great as a giveaway, a bonus item for a conference or a workshop, a bonus item in one of the products that you sell. It can also show people who might hire you to be a speaker how valuable content you can deliver. And you can also take that video content, take the audio off of it, and create an MP3 piece of audio content as well. So when people come to your website or your blog, they can download the video of the webinar, they can download the audio of the webinar, watch it on their iPad or the iPod or their laptop. It's just a great resource to have recorded. And what I've done is shown somebody 4 or 5 recorded webinars and had them turn that content into written content. And then I've been able to turn that into blog posts, an article, and parts of books. So definitely record your webinars, no matter what, record it. It's free or very close to free to be able to do so. So if you're running a business, it's definitely something you should be doing, is recording all of your webinars. Another tip is to structure all of your webinars in the same way. Start with the why. Why are you talking about the topic you're talking about, so your audience knows the benefits of listening and what horrible things are going to happen to them if they don't listen and then get involved in your webinars. The next thing you should talk about is the what you're talking about, the meat of the content, what's going on, what's the trend, what's the fact, what's the process you're delivering. Then you want to move to the how. What's the bullet point takeaways of how they're going to implement what you've just taught them. And then at the very end, some frequently asked questions, 3 or 4 common questions, and then open it up to questions on the webinar. These can be written in questions or audio voiced in questions if people call into your webinar. Or you can have some prepared questions from people who have been in your webinars in the past, so that only if a few people come to your webinar, it still seems much more interactive to people watching the recorded version if you have these common questions from the past. The last thing you should do at the end of your webinar is have either your pitch or your call to action. Just like a good sales page, asking somebody to sign up for something or buy something at the end or opt into something, at the end of your webinar you should be asking them to take some sort of action. Visit your blog, download your ebook, buy this product, call you for a consulting engagement, etc. Have a strong call to action at the end. It's really important. You can do all the work in developing great, valuable webinars, but with no really defined, strong call to action, you might lose 80% or 100% of the effectiveness that you could be realizing from doing it. For example, you could say, oh yeah, check out my blog sometime when you have a minute, and you might get 4 or 5 email opt-ins out of 100 people. Where if you tell people right now, while the webinar is going, go to this website, opt in, get the ebook. While you're doing so, make sure it works. If you have any problems, type that problem in right now into the webinar software. I'll tell you how to solve it and get you this ebook right away. And you might get 20 or 30 opt-ins instead of 5 or 6. That's just a quick example of how important a call to action could be. You can really get 6 times your return on the time and money you've just invested in producing this webinar. Now, as an action item for this video module right here, I would like you to write down some notes of what you just learned and write down some potential topics of webinars you could produce and create kind of a checklist, to-do list for yourself and getting your next webinar scheduled using all these best practices I just shared. It's Richard Wilson coming to you from Madrid, Spain, and I'll talk to you again soon.